In this video, we will cover the average living expenses for someone in Vancouver. We'll go through each thing you need to pay for month by month and how much it usually costs. And at the end of the video, you'll know what to expect when it comes to how much you'll need to pay every month. Before getting into the numbers, I am Adam J. Bell with Sea and Sky Real Estate. I'm a creative and real estate advisor here in Vancouver, helping people across the city. So if you are looking, we would love to hear from you for any of your real estate questions or opportunities. Now let's get into how much the city costs. We'll go one by one for each expense, starting off with rent. So the average one-bedroom rental in Vancouver has gone up in the last year. The average right now is around $2,700 per month, which is why many people live with roommates. And it's also like a joke in Vancouver to say that living with a spouse is kind of a life hack because you get to split everything. $2,700 a month for rent is a lot, but you have to decide if living in your own space is worth that amount of money. Keep in mind, we'll use the averages throughout this video. So $2,700 is the average. There are ones that you can find that are cheaper than that, but there's a lot that are more expensive too. Onto the phone bill. In Canada, phone bills are more expensive than other countries, so if you're coming from somewhere else, this might be a little bit of a shock. The average phone bill is around $75 a month, and again, these are average numbers. Mine is something like $80, $85, but I know people with phone bills around $50 a month. So it depends what you need and what kind of phone you have. Personally, I have 50 gigabytes of data per month, which is like, what you use when you don't use Wi-Fi, and that costs money. That'll get you. Next is Wi-Fi/internet. I'd say that's like a basic thing everyone needs. Again, we're covering just the basics here. The average Wi-Fi plan in Vancouver runs about $75 per month. So again, you can find cheaper plans. Mine is, I think, $55 a month. But if you're someone who does maybe a lot of gaming or uploading YouTube videos like this, you might want more expensive internet. Also, I'll mention I did a video on Vancouver where I found all of the cheapest options for these things we're covering: food, Wi-Fi, phone bill, rent, and I put all the cheapest options together in that one video. So I'll link that up here if you want to just see the minimums that I could find to live on and survive on in the city. Now on to food, a very important part of living. The average grocery bill, like per month for one person, I would say is around $425. If you're multiple people or a family, you may need to add to that. And again, this is averages. So this is not someone who eats a ton of food. This is not someone who eats less or goes to expensive grocery stores. Totally average. When I moved to Vancouver about 5-6 years ago, I was totally broke. So I tried to survive on the minimum amount of money and food that I could, and I was surviving off around $250 a month. So that was years ago. Inflation's gone up a little bit. I don't know if $250 is still a possible amount, but that was like college life living, ramen noodles, peanut butter and toast, not the usual lifestyle people want. And this $425 a month is just groceries, by the way, so we're not covering eating out. I just didn't put it in this list because it's not really a necessity. So $425 is just groceries. And finally, the last necessity, which is transportation. You may have more necessities than the ones on this list, but I went really basic with this list. You need to be able to get around the city, and thankfully Vancouver does have good transit, SkyTrains, buses, all that. You could buy a bike also, or even an e-bike to save on those costs long term. But for example, let's stick with transit. A trip on the bus or SkyTrain is $3.05, but if you use a Compass card, which is something you can buy for like $6 and then give it back and get your $6 back when you don't need it anymore. If you have that Compass card, then every time you use transit, it actually only costs $2.45. So if you are moving to Vancouver, I'll link where you can get the card below. I'll link their website, but you will want a Compass card if you're gonna be using transit. Let's say you work in an office, so you need to go to the office and back home every single day, twice a day, and you work around 20 days per month, kind of normal. That's 40 trips, so 40 trips times $2.45 equals $98 per month. So that's $98 you're paying minimum just to get to work. And a side note on this, there are employers out there who do pay for their employees' transportation. So when you're applying for a job or when you get a job, or if you have a job, you should ask someone there if the company covers that, because sometimes they do and you don't even know. Conclusion time. So going off all of these numbers, for the basic things you need to live in the city, you will be spending around $3,500 per month. And that's just the basics. So to be equal every month with your earning and spending, you would need to earn around $42,000 a year. But also taxes eat into that a little bit, so I'd recommend a little bit more. But keep in mind, the lifestyle that we did those numbers for is going off the average everything. And the most expensive thing on that list was the rent at $2,700. So a lot of people rent a 2-bedroom apartment and split the rent in half. So if you did that same calculation, but with your rent and your Wi-Fi split in half, stuff you would share with your roommate or significant other, your expenses would go down to around $2,000 per month. So if you still made that $42,000 a year, it would go a lot further, and you'd have money to save or enjoy yourself with, and eat more than peanut butter and toast. And now you see why I said having a partner in Vancouver is a life hack. Let's end this video off by talking about the different salaries and kind of how comfortable and what your lifestyle would look like at those salaries. The very minimum you would want to earn in Vancouver is like $35,000, which is close to minimum wage. I will warrant that I wouldn't say this is like a comfortable lifestyle, and I'm obviously taking the city for granted there. Of course, living in this great city is more comfortable than a lot of places, but financially, it wouldn't be super comfortable. You'd need a roommate, your place would not be amazing, and you'd probably have to live below your means. Let's say we make $60,000 a year. This is the amount of money where you'd start to be able to afford having your own apartment potentially. You'd have money to eat out or actually like enjoy yourself and do activities. And now up to the $80,000 to $90,000 a year range, this is when you can have your own apartment, you can have a car, you can pretty much start living comfortably in the city and not have to worry about bills. Some people need more money than others to enjoy themselves or to be happy, but I would say $80,000 is a really good number to aim for if you're thinking about living comfortably in the city, 70 to 80. With that said, I hope this video was informative, helped you with a little bit of what to expect if you're gonna be living in the city. And again, I am a real estate agent here in Vancouver, so if you're thinking about buying or selling, I'd love to have a chat with you. Contact info below the video, make sure to subscribe and keep an eye out for our future videos. See you in the next one.